moving energy, right? This is what I like to call ESP surgery, if you will. Fuck the psychic surgery. This is just extra sensory perception surgery. And you can do this all the time. Remember I said that moving energy, me, we have done the me meditation. What has come manifested out of that and here is manifest into like tics or just involuntary movements. One thing that most people do is we always disregard the psyche. And when I want to say, when you use these types of terms, people don't even acknowledge it because to them it's just garbage. It doesn't mean anything to most people if you don't know the definitions or what the symbol means. If you know what the symbol means, go back to the history or whatever, go back and look it up. It is the mind, breath, and soul. Now you can say, well, some people call that spirit. So if the spirit is the mind, breath, so if you don't believe in the spirit, you don't believe in your own mind. If you don't believe in the spirit, you don't believe that you don't even have a breath. Are you even living? Are you actually living, or are you just here? Or are you a simulation? One thing I've noticed a while back, someone had mentioned, I was somewhere in Facebook. I don't do Facebook. I don't really. I post on the pages on there, but there's no engagement. I didn't get any engagement on Facebook, on the Instagrams. They fucking don't get any views or any of that because I've stalked my page, went on there and find where I could find these posts. Can't find them. Same with the TikToks. Now I just got on TikToks, but who knows? I don't get any. This is the only place I get engagement. Imagine that. Which fucking I don't know. So I just keep coming. I'm gonna keep doing these weird little shorts or whatever, just to keep the mind flowing, to keep everything flowing, because everything always moves, yo. Nothing stays. Nothing. So, and to think of that, if you don't believe in the spirit or soul, you don't believe in the mind and the breath. Because before, listen to what I'm going to say, before the body, there was a voice. There was the mind, the breath, and the soul. Traveling in the mind, breath, soul dimension. To get here to the earth, the mind, the breath, the soul created an outer extension of itself. The body, the human animal, to be in this dimension. Once you realize that you're not just in this dimension, you're also in another dimension. You now are free. Because whatever happens to you here in this dimension is not your only reality. Listen to what I'm saying. These other dimensions are very real to me and to some other people who are like-minded like me and others. Most people, like I said, cannot fathom the enigmatic language that I speak because they can't fathom it. Therefore, I stay alone and don't discuss with anybody. Because why waste all that energy trying to discuss things? all this is just ESP. Is what we are. This is all what we really are. Elakamono istakit istaka kukumere ini kistoromuyana istaka hate suturu yakin muitestada inoku shtikitamana. So whatever happens in the mind, breath, soul created the body. Imagine what else the mind can create to bring here in physical reality. When you go to the hospital, when you go to a psychiatrist or all these other things, they're only looking at the body. They're not looking at the whole picture. Okay, you can do this and that, but what about the psychological aspect of this subject? What do you mean? What I mean is, what is the state of mind that you're in? When you die, thermodynamics says when you die, whatever state your mind is in, when the body drops off into the grave, whatever state the mind, breath, and soul is in is where it's going to be, where you're going to be. This is why it's important to nurture the kingdom within. What is the kingdom within? The kingdom within is the fifth dimension. This is what the kingdom within is. Dimensions exist all around. They are simultaneously existing. I've noticed that in my experience that the fifth dimension, the fourth, the sixth, whatever, in the 11th, they all intertwine. They start to intertwine here in the third dimension. Because you bring about your experience, and you see something, whoa, come right out of the works of the tree or this and that, right, a sign pop out of nowhere. You're the only one that gets it. Why? Because your perception is such. The invisible place is being manifested in front of you, so it's guiding you. It's responding to your thinking. It's responding to your habitual thoughts. I always like to say is keep it simple. The measure, I'm paraphrasing what Malcolm X said, is the measure of intelligence is how you take something complicated, such as the mind, breath, and the soul, and you make it simple. The measure of ignorance is how you take the mind, breath, and the soul and make it too complicated for anyone to understand. That's why these people are running to an authority to tell them what's wrong with their own mind, breath, and soul, and they don't even know what's wrong with the mind, breath, and soul, because they can't even figure out their own mind, breath, and soul. We are nothing more but subjects, human resources, as what we are. We are the resource. The research is we are the research. You go to a psychiatrist, and who do you think they're researching? They're not researching in books, they're researching in you to keep filling their pockets. This one psychiatrist told me that we're doing similar things to help other people. Basically, not someone, he said we're doing the same damn thing. And that told me, so if I'm doing the same thing you're doing, he basically told me that we're doing the same thing I'm doing, but my words and his words are very different. Something ain't right. Something is not right in the whole institutionalized fucking realm of health and fucking well-being and all that other stuff. I even start to question some of the spiritual places that are around here, this town. What's the motive? I mean, you have to. People are out to just take advantage of vulnerable people because they don't know their own mind, breath, and soul, and they remain in this dopey state. In the dopey state, in the delta state. I always say this, look it up. The brainwave frequency in the delta state is the inability, the general definition is the inability to think. But you can go beyond that, because the frequency words and terms and definitions and all this shit have frequencies. What are you talking about? What are you telling yourself? What is your your conversation with God, or the universe, or the mind, breath, and soul? You can't see the breath, can you? Why is this? You can see it when you're in that dimension. You can see it clear as day. And I tell you what, if you close your eyes, you can see the breath better. Imagine that. Exactly. Imagine that. Things are not as they appear to be. And this is big news all around. Nobody wants to be told that they're living in a fool's paradise. Nobody wants to hear this. And those people that don't want to hear this don't examine their own mind, breath, and soul. Why, if there's no soul or anything, why is it even a word? Why is it even in the English dictionary? This is to begin the English dictionary. This is just the tip of it. Why is it even in there? Why do they have psychologists? That's the soul. It means the soul. The study of the soul. Go deeper, it's the mind, breath, and soul. I had to fire a psychiatrist because they did not have the felt presence of direct experience of their own delusional mind. Education is not knowledge, it's training. They were trained to tell you about the mind, breath, and soul, the psyche. When they didn't, how can you tell? You can't guide me unless you walk the path you're telling me. This is all about experience. Your own human, individual experience of the felt presence of the situation at hand. That is the bottom line of what we speak of here. And if this is the book of shadows, so be it. And the motive be is what it is. That's what it is. This is the book of shadows. No joke. It's a virtual book of shadows, is what this really is. I thank you, Bridget, for telling me that. So on this happy note, you want to embrace the mind, breath, and soul. Now is the time to go within. Since we're not doing anything, everybody's sitting around, go within and embrace your own mind, your own breath, your own soul, and see what you are breathing in that dimension. And the reason why I call it a dimension, and that's another thing, the psychiatrist can't even tell me. Different levels of thinking are higher states of awareness. Are these called dimensions? They had no answer. They said, we cannot answer that. But he said that, but the things that you are telling me, they do represent dimensions. Very confusing, right? Ignorance. You see? Trying to complicate things. That's the way it is. You keep it simple. Keep it simple, and the more you keep it simple, the more you do things, the more and more you get experienced. The more you can experience, the more you sit within, the more you sit with your own mind, your own breath, your own soul, the more you sit with it, the more experience you have of the other dimension. It's simple. It's so simple. It's right there. You can just touch it. You touch it. But everybody's afraid. Because there's no authority telling them, this is what your mind is. This is what your breath is doing. This is your soul. No, they're looking for answers to an authority figure. What is authority? There is no authority. Think. Look up the word authority, and you tell me it comes from the word author. It comes from the word, or the symbol. It comes from the symbol author. It is an author. I don't need to say anymore. Look it up. What is an author? Exactly. Your conscious mind is a pen that impresses everything in the subconscious brain, or whatever you want to call it, the subconscious brain, the subconscious mind, the unconscious, the collective conscious, whatever you want to call it, whatever makes your panties wet, I don't care. Your conscious mind is a pen that impresses everything into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind can make these things come to pass. And the more habitually you think about one thing, your conscious mind will bring that to pass. It responds to our habitual thinking. It all comes from the invisible place, just like viruses do, and just like allergens, and like any soul, spirits, voodoo, demons. They all come from the invisible place. Well, what is the name of this invisible place? I call this the sixth dimension. The sixth dimension is like a physical place where there's demons and there's people coming after you. There's people coming to shoot you. I lived like that for years. Someone was out to get me. The FBI was always watching me. The CIA was tapping my phone lines. The men in black were always around me. This is the sixth dimension. It was not a delusional, psychotic episode as one in the mainstream doctor field would tell me. You're just psychotic. Well, no. Let's examine it further. It's a different dimension. It really exists to me, the observer. Because the observer is creating the reality the observer is observing. This is an experience. This is not a conspiracy. This is an experience. A felt presence of my direct experience with delusions. So-called delusions. Delusions, hallucinations are as normal as ordinary vision. Because it's not about normal space and time. It's about hyper space and time. Well, hyperspace and time don't exist. Why? Why? Because you don't believe in it? Because you can't see it? You don't even let you say it don't exist, but yet you are in hyperspace. You think, right? Where is thinking? It's not in third dimensional reality. Where you really stand, the person that's thinking, the one, the mind, the psyche, this is all, this psyche, breath, soul, mind, breath, soul, this person, this mind, breath, soul is immortal. It's immortal. It exists without the flesh. It has eyes without the flesh. It can hear without ears. That's not no conspiracy. That's an experience. And if you tell me it's a delusion, I don't believe in it. Again, here we go. Belief. Most people don't have beliefs. Because an authority, someone who made shit up, is telling them that that's not real. That's in your mind. Exactly. What do you think our ancestors, what do you think they were doing? Worshipping? Who were they worshiping? When you worship the sun, it's in your fucking mind. You worship your deceased loved ones, it's in your mind. You're doing this shit in your mind. It's not in third dimensional reality. The mind dimensions are outside of physical reality. They're in the spirit land, or whatever you want to call it. The psyche. Kumera, siti hamoya tisto kumera nistera I hamonetre a en kuya tisti nistuyeste. In these times of chaos, we need to embrace our own minds. We need to be authority over ourselves. The mind must have an authority over the body. Wherever the mind goes, the body follows. That's a fact. That's a fact. And you know how I know? Just sit. See where your mind goes. And pay attention to where your body goes. And I guarantee you, most of all, you probably won't even see it because you don't live consciously. Those of you who live consciously know what I'm talking about. The mind will go, or the body will go wherever the mind is. And if the mind is in super lengths and super dimensions, guess what? The body has to travel to get there. And guess how it's going to get there? It's going to be fucked up. Because you have to release shit that's weighing you down here. It's simple. Oh, my mind is in 10th dimension, but yet my body aches. You know, I have a sinus issue. My eyes are watering. Well, yeah, you're releasing something within you that's holding you back here. So you can't catch up to your mind. Because if you don't catch up to your mind, then you become lost. Then you can become lost, and you have to go. You have to searching for someone to tell you something, some sort of clarity, someone to give you advice. Never go to your family for advice. It's the most dangerous thing you can do, because what they will tell you will be biased, or anything they tell you will be biased and prejudiced. Go to somebody who's neutral. Go to somebody you don't even fucking know. That's my advice. That's the best advice. And you know what that advice, you know what I'm telling you is to go to? And if you're looking for advice, you need to go to your own mind, breath, and soul. Your own kingdom that you are creating. But if you don't believe in your own mind, breath, and soul, then you don't have a kingdom. Your kingdom is right here, third dimensional reality, chaos, death. That's your dimension. Because you don't believe in the mind, breath, or the soul. And when you close your eyes, you can see the mind, breath, and soul better. You can even actually see what you're breathing in this state. I was breathing when I first woke to this theory, this experience. I was seeing all kind of weird, deathly black shit breathing. I don't know what the hell I was breathing in. I was like, well, this ain't right. So you know what I did? I started to plug into the sun. You can plug into the sun. How do you do that? Easy. Go to your fucking place. You do it there. Get your vitamin D from the sun. I don't care how you plug into the sun. That's your business. I'm trying to do my business. The sun is there for a reason, to plug in. It might be cloudy, it might be rainy, it might be dark at night. In the dead of the night, you can always plug into the sun and get your energy to reboot your body. And remember, so the body has to catch up to the mind. So then it feeds the body. And you can see it in that state. You can see what's actually happening. And to yourself, you'll think, I'm fucking crazy. I am fucking crazy. This can't be. No one else is experiencing this. Why am I experiencing this? And you go start looking online, you start questioning, you start typing in shit, and you come to find people's videos, and you're like, wow, I never thought of it like that. I never knew something like that. Wow. ESP, Extra Sensory Perception. ESP, psychic surgery, shamanic perceptions, hawk vision. These are all the same things. There's no special psychic. There's no... there's no special word for something. They all have the same meaning. It's people different views and perceptions. That's all it really is. And all this is doing is getting rid of stuff that I don't need. When I focus, when I'm doing some sort of Reiki energy work on me, I don't focus on symptoms or prognosis. What I focus on is divine healing, light, and embrace in the light, in the cosmic rays of the healing dimension. Because right now I'm hearing voices speaking to me, and I just had to pause for a moment to make sure that there was nobody in the house, and there's nobody in the house. I'm just hearing voices. But because if you focus on symptoms and prognosis, you're creating more symptoms. Like when you focus on lack and you talk about how bad you had it, you talk about how you have to buy the cheapest food to eat, or to get the cheapest gas to put in your vehicle, or whatever. You're only creating more of that. Never talk about it. Talk about the solution. Your desire is your savior. Let's remember that. Nikina moya na sete to kuma alhani mod akhnu me distahbudu wa distukuma alai inisto kukista kala kedo moya destikiti akhanagode istokume da haliti stokum kukuka ya kistukuba edistre yutuba destra hama yanistiki tuku kira langi ma ine kistoku petera ine. I love you guys. Thank you for reaching out, contacting me, subscribing, all this other jazz. We're on the road to 600, and it's nice to see everybody following along. Those that really pay attention, that know you know who you are. I don't need to get any further into details, but you guys know who you are. You guys know who's when the prize is manifested. You know you're in my radar. And you know who you are. Because I've got you. I got your back. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Be unique, magical. Like this here. If you just want some crazy stuff, I just let it go. I'm just lost my mind trying to think, man, I need to be all spiritual. Well, no, this is the book of Shadows. That's a virtual book of shadows. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Be unique, be magical, all other fucking bullshit. Go with it. Be safe. Be all this craziness. Ah, shit. All right. I love you guys.